Yo, what is up, everybody?
What else going on?
Oh, he in that chill mode today. Tell everybody where you went out to yesterday.
Oh yeah, I went to a little jazz festival. You know what I'm saying? It was actually jazz and R&B. So uh, it was cool. It was mad cool. But you can only control what you can control. So roll the clip intro.
Let's do it.
Yeah, buddy.
Man, I kind of miss my curls. Every time I watch that, I'm like, dang, where my curls at? It's okay though.
Right,
It's
right.
summertime, getting hot out here in AZ. Yo, but we're not talking about that today. What we're talking about is controlling the controllables. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the reason why we're having this conversation today with y'all is because I had a rather interesting travel experience this past week. I was in Arkansas with one of the great homies, Jake White, owner and co-founder of a Vive 18, and we're out there and on our way back, man. I was looking at my itinerary for that travel day just to get my mind focused and be like, all right, cool, this is what I got to do.
Yeah.
And so I had a connecting flight from Arkansas to Vegas and then Vegas to Phoenix back home. So I pull up to the checking my bag, because shout out Southwest free bag check-in, you know what I'm saying? So I roll it over there
Right,
and she looks
right.
at me. I give her my bag and she looking at me. She said, baby, you ain't gonna make this flight. And I said, what you mean, baby, ain't gonna make this flight? I'm like, at this time, I'm kind of tired. I'm like, I'm ready to go home. It's the end of your work trip. You're like, oh, I can't wait to go sleep in my bed. She hit me
True.
with the, baby, you ain't gonna make this flight. And I was like, no, I'm here. Like, I'm in Arkansas. Like, I'm gonna make this flight. She's like, no, not this flight. You're gonna be okay for this flight. But in Vegas, your connecting flight, you the flight here is delayed. So the flight from Arkansas to Vegas was delayed, and I wouldn't make my connecting flight from Vegas to Phoenix. So she was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
how about this? How about we just check this bag into Vegas and we'll switch you over to leave Friday night. Because it was a Thursday to leave Friday night from Vegas. And I was like, okay, like worst comes to worst, I'm in Vegas for the night. Okay.
Right,
But
right.
she was like, well, we don't comp rooms. And I was like, okay. But the good news is I already had family out there for the Pac-12 tournament. So I was like, maybe I'll just hit them up and see if I can crash over there. So it works out. She gives me the slip. I go through TSA, no problem. It turns out my flight is on time from Arkansas to Las Vegas. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, cool. Let me see if I can kind of finagle this a little bit so I can catch my flight from Vegas to Phoenix. So, we go on this plane, the Arkansas to Vegas, which is like a 3-hour trip. I get off in Vegas and I go talk to the ticket agent that's at the kiosk. So I'm hitting her up. I'm talking to her. And she's like, okay, mijo, yeah, we can do that. Like, do you have a? And I think I didn't hear the question, but I think she asked me if I had a checked bag, and I know in my head no. I had my AirPods in, and my ears are a little stuffy. And then Jake was like smart enough. He's like, hey, did you say that you had a checked bag? And I was like, I don't think I did. So I went back and I told her, I was like, hey, I have a checked bag on that flight I just came off of. And she's like, I thought I asked you that. And I was like, my bad. Okay, cool. Like, can you do the thing? And she was like, yeah, okay, we got you. We'll do the thing. So I wasn't supposed to board until 8:50 p.m. From my Vegas to Phoenix flight. So I'm on the other side of the airport. I'm grubbing on some food. I'm talking with Jake, and we're talking about just recapping the week. And I'm like, we say peace out because he had another flight. He's going on another city, another state. And I was like, all right, cool. Like at 8:30, I bounced out and we head to my gate that I was supposed to be at. And the ticket lady that was there, she looks at me, she recognizes me, and she goes, Mijo, like, what are you still doing here? Like your flight just boarded. And I said, what do you mean? Like, this is my gate. Like everybody else was like still there that was like at the gate before. And I was like, my flight's right here. She's like, no, they changed your gate. You didn't hear that? And I was like, no, I didn't hear. She's like, so she's on the phone calling her people. Hey, can I have the one more passenger? Can y'all still have the gate open? And she just looks at me and she goes, run that way. And I was like, all right. And so here I am
Right,
in Las
right.
Vegas. Right. I'm like, it was kind of scary. So I'm running to my gate, and the travel agent there was like, are you Zion? I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, let me see if I still got you on this roster because I think we might have removed you for somebody on standby. And I was like,
Mm.
oh God. all right, cool. So she looks up and she's like, "Broop," my name like, just appears out of nowhere. Like she's like, oh, look, it says your name. She's like, there you go. You go in. And then so I get on my flight. I have a whole row to myself. The flight wasn't that booked. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I made it, thank God, you know. So I get back into Phoenix and I'm waiting at my carousel, my baggage claim carousel to come
Mm,
around. And I'm there for about 20 minutes. And I'm like, none of these look like my bag. Because I have, you know, a distinct little tag on it. So I know which one's mine. And I'm there for another 25 minutes, no bag. So I go back to the travel agent in Phoenix. And I said, hey, you know, my bag didn't come in. She's like, you still got your claim thing, my little bag, my little claim,
ticket. Hmm.
yeah, ticket. And I was like, oh, thank God I saved this in my wallet because I was about to throw it away. So I gave it to her. She said, all right, well, it's not here. So you got to go talk to these other people over there, the baggage claim folks that do all the baggage things. So I'm like, all right. I talked to them and they're like, well, your bag's still in Vegas. And I said, yeah, I kind of guessed it. I guessed it was gonna be like that. I was like, so what do I do? She's like, well, if you come back around, you know, this time, I was like, oh, I'm really trying to come back. She's like, oh, do you live in this like this the city that you live in? I'm like, oh yeah, I live like down the street from here. She's like, okay, cool. Like we'll get you a number. Here's your claim, and we'll text you when your bag has been delivered. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go back home, resting, sleeping, whatever. Wake back up, and my bag's at my front door. So
Dang.
long story, right? That's a travel day, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, it happens though. You know what I mean?
But and I think one of the things that was really highlighted because I was texting my not only you guys, my parents, but also you know my girlfriend, and she was like, "How are you not annoyed? Like, how are you not pissed off?
Mm,
Like how are you still smiling, talking to me on the phone, acting like it's a good time?" Because she was like, "I would have been pissed," and that it dawned on me that a lot of people probably in that position maybe would have been pissed off, maybe
mm.
would have been angry, right? But
Right,
I
right,
think
right.
for me, I did everything that was in my control that I was supposed to, right? I was really trusting in the systems that were in place, and I
Right, right,
showed
right.
up to the airport on time, and I checked my bag, all the little things I did correctly. And the way that I can respond, not react, but how I can respond is like at the bigger picture. If my bag got lost, okay, all those things I can replace, you know, with money. Like I can replace all that. If I got
True, true.
stuck in Vegas, I had a place to stay in Vegas. Like it wasn't a big deal. And maybe I could have caught the Arizona basketball game in the tournament. You know what I mean? Or,
Right,
you know, if my bag whatever, like these little things. And I think that's what we get hung up on is the little things. The things
right,
that
right.
we can't control. So, you know, that's why I brought it up here today because I want to let you know that, you know, even when times are rough, you know, as
Hmm.
long as you're doing the little things that you're supposed to do and responding to them in a healthy way, it's all gonna work out.
Yeah,
It's all gonna be fine.
it definitely does. Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, but that takes practice, right, in the mindset to recognize the silvering in the clouds. What do they call it? The silver
Silver
lining and
lining.
the clowning. Yeah, in those clouds when it seems like it's overcast and there's nothing to smile about. Definitely. Uh, yeah, man, that's a mindset, and I think a lot of us forget to look at that because we're so used to wanting to, like you said, react and be negative or and don't get me wrong, sometimes there's an appropriate time and place for that, but not not all the time. And I think some people like to live in that space where it's all negative and they don't see the positivity and maybe what they're going through or what's before them. And so, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing happened to me when I went to the AZ Jazz Fest. Um, I was trying to figure out like what it's a 3-day festival, and I was trying to decide what days I wanted to go on. And excuse me, the I mean, they have it spread out where like there's always like a couple or a few acts you want to see on a day, but not necessarily everybody on the same day. So you're like, dang, okay, what do I do here? So I ended up picking Sunday because there was a couple of cats that I wanted to see. Teddy Swims was one of them. Babyface, Johnny Gill, um, Keith Sweat, and some other. Those were some of the older
Anthony
heads.
Hamilton.
Yeah, some of the older heads that I wanted to check. And so I get there around what 4 or 3:30, um, and it's partly cloudy. But I had checked the weather before I had bounced, you know what I'm saying? and there was nothing in the weather that said, possible chance of rain. It said partly cloudy, and it was going to be like 56 degrees in the evening time. So I'm like, okay, so what do I wear? How do I handle this? I'm like, all right, we're gonna be all right. It just be a little chilly, so it'll be all good. So then end up getting to the location, and it is at first it's just like I said, partly cloudy, was all good, and then next thing you know, get in. Um, Johnny Gill ends up being delayed because it started raining.
Mm.
Was like, what? Are you kidding me? And the thing that was interesting was, I had taken time to read the fine print, like, 2 days before. And it was talking about, the concerts going on, rain or shine, and this, that, and the other. I'm like, okay, well, that's good to know. But again, I checked the weather and it didn't say anything. But now, mind you, I didn't bring an umbrella. I don't have like,
Mm.
saying the proper, rain gear or anything. I mean, I did wear my Timbs, my boots, and had the jeans, but I brought like a jean jacket. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I didn't know, like, I didn't want to bring a full on, winter coat. You know what I'm saying,
Right.
out there? Because I mean, for some of y'all might be laughing, but 56 degrees, can get a little chilly for us Arizonans. Uh, um, and so it just started sprinkling, man, and then next thing you know, it started coming down hard. And they had this another little band or another little section for the band, a band to
Mhm.
play, but they had to cover it all up. And so, like, when the main stage was getting prepared for a singer, people were supposed to be on this little smaller stage or a band on the smaller stage. Well, they shut that all down because that wasn't covered.
Mm.
And so, they didn't want their equipment, getting wet and this, that, and the other. So, mind you, the other thing is, I mean, a lot of people were in the same boat. A lot of people, well, I say 50-50, right? 50% of people brought umbrellas, 50% didn't. So there were like volunteers that were handing out trash bags, and people were like making makeshift like ponchos, rain ponchos with these
Right.
plastic bags and whatnot. And so it was like, but the problem was, again, there was no music.
Mm.
So, um, going to the convenience, I mean, I could be upset, but I'm gonna be mad about rain. You know what I mean? Yes, Teddy Swims ended up calling in and counseling for whatever reason. I don't know the situation. Um, but then Babyface, man, that cat is crazy. Babyface, ooh, that dude is like, oh man, I didn't know his repertoire was as long as it was as far as songs that he wrote and stuff. But anyway,
Mm.
it was about a good like 2 hours because they were waiting for the rain to pass by, constantly looking up at the clouds like, dang, okay, which way is that? Are the clouds moving? Because you can see them getting darker and moving
Mm.
a certain direction or way. And you're like, is that coming this way? And then, we get just the edge of it would be hitting us and then it would pass by. But to your point about, do I get upset in this moment? Do I get frustrated? I mean, I wanted to be, but at the same time, it was like, you know what? I'm here sitting next to some people I don't know. I got a chance to meet them, talk with them for a little bit. Um, got to still kind of check out the vibe of the area, meaning, within the concert, and everybody was really cool. Everybody, for the most part, was very positive, and so that was a good experience. But I can only control what I can control.
100%. And I think, when we talk about maybe ways that people can, like you said, it's a mindset, right? It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes practice doing this. I think one of the things that stands out to me is, gratitude,
Yeah,
practicing gratitude for the moment that you're in. I mean, I think back to my experiences a couple weeks ago where, man, I just got back from a flight. I got back from doing public speaking gig. Like, how much of a blessing is that? Like, and for me to sit and complain and be like, my flight's delayed and this and that, and I could be pissed and angry, but I'm living out my dream. Like, I'm traveling the world speaking. Like, how many other people can say that? Like, not a lot of people. So that's
yeah,
gratitude. And thank God I didn't have anything else planned for that day or for the next day. Maybe I would have looked at it a little differently. But even then, I probably would have called in and canceled. I would have been like, hey, I won't be able to make it with these flight delays or whatever, because everything is going to work itself out the way it needs to work out. And for us, we're spiritual people. We believe in God, and we trust in God's plan and whatever we can do to make sure to
yeah,
fulfill that plan, and knowing that God got us, whatever we're going through. Like, God's gonna get us. So
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a matter of I mean, a lot of people have a hard time understanding why, a person may not get upset about certain things. But I think again, if you walk in I'm gonna say faith and understanding and uh patience, for the most part it does work out. You probably heard those stories sometimes when people, or I don't know if it's stories per se, but people say like, you know, like let's say you're caught in traffic, or you're running late to work or to a situation or to a place, and the car in front of you is going really slow, and you're like, God damn, man, I'm trying to, get to where I'm trying to go. At least can't they do the speed limit? And you're like, ah. But you know what? And there's some. I've seen a couple of stories where it's like, well, maybe this is happening on purpose so that you could be safe. Maybe
mm,
because then next thing you go another 15 miles up the road and there was a car accident.
mm,
And had you been going, you know, at the rate that you wanted to go or speed or whatever, you could have been caught up in that, that fender bender.
right.
And so maybe there's something that's happening to help keep you safe so that you don't run into this negative situation
Mm,
that will really just devastate the rest of your day.
right.
If you've been already frustrated. And so sometimes there may be reasons why things are occurring that we can't see, but that are happening. And again, a lot of people may not want to believe in that philosophy, but
Yeah,
what I feel is that that helps you to live a little bit more of a peaceful life.
I
Um,
agree.
because if you can find the gratitude and the enjoyment of the uncomfortableness, and
Mm,
understanding that maybe it's for the better or to the good, then you're better off, because all you're doing when you get frustrated and angry and then piss off other people and make, they end up having a bad day, your heart rate and blood pressure's gone up, and now you've messed up the rest of your day. Now your significant other or friends that you're with don't want to hang out with you because you got a bad attitude. And so how's that help anything? Make the
right.
best of the situation that you can, enjoy life, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? So
I love that.
control what you can.
I love
um
that.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Also, there's this look it up real quick. I should know it by heart, but I haven't been in the treatment world for a while. But is some people on here may already know it too. uh have you ever heard of the serenity prayer?
Yes, I have. I have heard about this.
Yeah. And it started with Alcoholics Anonymous, years ago. The founder, um, you know, it's a part of the work that they do. Um, and what it says is, um, and AA, they use they speak as, they use the name God as their higher power. But my understanding is from AA is that, it doesn't have to be God. It could be whoever you believe your higher power to be. But in the prayer, it does use the word God, which I'm not opposed to. And it says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change,
Mm,
the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
wow.
Living
That's
one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. That's
mm,
crazy.
that's good. That's
Uh,
good.
to accept the things I cannot change. There are some things that you cannot change. And one of the things that I like to talk about is, when I work with people, is that you can't change other people.
Whew.
All you can do is make suggestions, maybe do some coaching, but they have to want to change.
Man.
And this is, I mean, this is when you're talking about boyfriend, girlfriends, you're talking about husband, wives, you're talking about wife, husbands, you're talking about,
Friends.
friends, you're talking about family members, you're talking
Mm,
about, hey, you can only change um, what you're willing to change.
right.
You can't change anybody else. So then you have to accept the fact um, that you cannot change some things.
Right.
You have to accept the things that I cannot change. But then you have to have the courage to change the things that you can.
And
Hey,
what are some things that they
I
can
mean,
change?
you can change your attitude
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how you walk in this life. Just like you said at the airport, you having the courage to maybe at first wanted to be upset, but then changing your attitude of, you know what? Dang, if I go to Vegas and hey, maybe Pac-12's there, hell, maybe I'll go watch some games with some friends, this, that, and the other. Okay, all right, cool, cool, cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so the courage to change the things that I can. You can change your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You can change your boyfriend or girlfriend. I mean, meaning like the physical person of who. I mean like you don't need to be with that person.
Right. Right. You can end
You
that
could
relationship.
you can end a
Right.
relationship, break up or whatever, and then find what works for you and for that other person better,
Right.
right? Um, you can change your location. You can
Mm-hmm.
change schools. Okay, again, you want to have some support and conversations around, what is best for you. But if
Right.
there's things that are going on, you have the courage because a lot of times what we end up doing is staying in situations that aren't the best for us because we don't have the courage to want to change,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
right? We don't have the courage to want to change, and that takes a lot. And it's not easy,
Not at all.
but if you do it, there's some benefit in it for yourself. And this is what I love about this part here. And again, I didn't think I was going to talk about this, but the courage, the willingness to accept what you control what you can, which is controllable, is this last line right here. I'm gonna leave it here. Is and then and the wisdom to know the difference.
Mm. That's so good.
To accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That's good.
Ooh,
That's so good.
to know the difference, man. Like knowing, like, okay, can I change this or not? Because you can only do what's within your power to do. You
Mm-hmm.
can try to influence situations, but you may not be the one to change it. And so you have to know and have discernment about, is this something that I can do or is this something that I cannot do?
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Discernment.
nothing I can do about the rain
Mm-mm.
that was coming down. Yeah. I was like, oh man, I'm getting wet. I'm like, oh man, but I was like, hey, yep, it is what it is. Can't change it. Might as well just see what's coming next. You know what I mean?
Right.
As far as like the next show and how long is it going to take, and it was getting cold, the wind was blowing, and I can't change this. But you know what? I can have a good time still.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah, you
know,
better have you pay some money on that, man.
what I'm saying? Exactly. I could be mad about losing out on the tickets and who was supposed to be there, but I had to make a decision: be upset about it or lean with it, rock with it, like I like to say.
Man.
Just like when you're at the airport. And I'm sure many people on here have many examples. I mean, throughout their life, because I think that's the other piece. Just real quick in closing, is that what did it say? Um, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace.
Mm.
What I think that means is that no matter who you are, Superman, Batman, I don't care who, whatever, you know, a billionaire, you know, there's going to be hardships in life. and your attitude is going to determine how you get through that.
Right.
And so you're going to have them. You're going to have challenges. How do you choose to look at it? How do you choose to walk through it? With an attitude, a negative attitude, or one of gratitude?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always going to be something to learn from that and to build upon, and a way that can lead you to peace, as it says here, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it rest there, man. Let
No,
people
that's
let people have peace. Let people have peace. You know what I
no,
mean?
100%, 100%. No, that was good. I'm glad you brought that serenity prayer up because I think there's a lot of things that you can take away from that, and let that soak and marinate in that. You know what I mean? And I think one of the things that's a constant thread as we've been talking is choosing to respond over reacting. And that's Stephen Covey, right? That's Stephen Covey.
Yep.
Choose to respond over reacting, because that's what we do sometimes when we're in the heat of the moment. We react rather than respond. And you have a decision to make. You can react to this, which is like your first instinct, or maybe you just need a timeout to really think about
Pause.
what that looks like. That pause, right? That power of pause, like taking a moment, taking a step back. Is this really a big deal right now in this moment? Maybe.
Hmm.
Or is this a hardship that I'm gonna overcome that's gonna get me to that peace that I'm attaining, that I'm striving for, right? And it goes back into our conversation that we have in the previous episode, talking about contentment versus complacency.
Yep.
And we can talk about this topic on and on and on. But I really wanted students and adults to understand control the controllables, right? We can't
Yep.
control how other people respond to things, but we can control how we respond to other people
Yep.
or to
True.
certain things that may have happened to us. We can choose to respond. And if you have trouble responding in a healthy way, there's always help, man. There's always help. But I like to tell students, I can't help you if I don't know what's going on. The same thing with adults. I can't help you if I don't know what's going on. So with that
Exactly.
being said, we hope that y'all got something from this podcast. As always, me and Pop, we're gonna be heading over to Oklahoma this
Yep.
uh this upcoming week, and we're gonna be doing a presentation out there. So we're excited to be heading out there. And you can definitely book us for a presentation in the near future. We know school is coming to an end, but that means summer programs are up and running. So if you need us to speak to any of your maybe employees or maybe some students or maybe some a camp, let us know, man. Go to our website at uptoit.club. We'd be more than happy to help y'all out. We'll be speaking.
Yeah.
We can announce this too. We'll be speaking at the Child Abuse Prevention Conference in July 23rd and 24th. So if you want to go check that out, You'll see your boys up there doing their thing. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
indeedy. Yes,
We're gonna,
indeedy.
we're gonna have a good time with some great information. But with that being said, you can follow us on Instagram at underscore up to it. Up to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Simple. We're going crazy right now because all these presentations that are being booked, they've been doing, a lot of people have been checking us out. So we appreciate y'all for choosing us to listen to first and foremost. And with that being said, Pop, you got anything else for them?
That's it, man. Yo, y'all get out there, be safe, hey, make good choices, and live in peace.
Let's do it. Well, we'll talk to y'all soon.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.